me share my screen now. So those participants who are here, so they can, if they are here, so we can obviously start, and others who are joining, they can join later. All right. So actually today's agenda, or to speak specifically for the Gulf region, we are having this session for and the title of the session is that how we can increase our business outcomes when it comes to any business industry. With today's, if we see like the era which is in front of us is a digitized era. The idea of digital economy is no more a myth, it's a reality now. By the term business outcomes means that this is a favorable term which comes to any business. If I talk about healthcare, if I talk about schooling, like education sector, if I talk about hospitality, if I talk about any other segment, any other areas like financial or real estate, whatever, every single organization is interested in how they gonna be increasing their revenues, coming up with favorable business outcomes, as we say. So what actually is a success? See, there are like different, and there are like many terminologies which can define success. But we are here to discuss one of the driver or one of the supporter in this era in which we are discussing on the outcomes and how we can generate revenue and all. So IT has been most commonly used or most commonly supported, and now it's been a primary objective in many of the organizations. The information technology is basically one of the important measure, or one of the important driver when it comes to generating revenue, achieving your business objectives. Why? Because just nowadays, when we are going towards more digitized era, every single organization wants to be communicated or wants to communicate with their clients, with their customers, and work on the success rate, or work on the satisfaction of the customers. They want to increase the clientele of satisfied customers. How they are doing that? How they are doing the same? They are doing like by creating some sort of applications. They are doing it by some sort of surveys, feedbacks. They are doing by websites or seamless payment methods and all. So what things are responsible behind that? Obviously, information technology plays a major role in that particular category. So all the data that has been generated, that has been organized from the applications, from the users, needs to be stored somewhere. So we might need some kind of a persistent storage for that. Persistent storage means that the area or the volume on which your data must be residing. So there are many of these storage industries or storage vendors available into the market. So what actually brings special when we talk about the HPE storages or HPE infrastructure? We have always focused on not on just generating this IOPS or speeding up the drives, and when we don't talk about speeds and feeds, we talk about business outcomes. We talk about workloads that can give you most optimized performance. And how we're going to do that, I'll just share it with you in some of the slides. One of the reason how we are going to do is that is the answer is in this particular title, which says that unleash your data with intelligent data platform. So we actually rely on or we have actually developed the platform, which we say that this particular platform is intelligent enough. And we actually believe that the data which is stored persistently in your storage is not only for the purpose of storage, not only for the purpose of storing data, but the array should be intelligent enough, one, to resolve the problems. Two, the the thing is that they should actually analyze the data and come up with some meaningful results out of that. Wait, actually, if somebody has a question, let me just check the question and answers. Jacob has raised their hand. I don't know why. Allow to talk. I'll just allow him to talk. Jacob.
By mistake. Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
I think I should move on.
Yeah, please.
So if you guys have any questions at any moment of time, so you're free to add these questions on the chat box. After this session, we would be having some question and answers, and I would be trying to just see the chat box and try to answer every question. If I missed anything, so I would be obviously sharing my email address as well, so you can be in touch with me after the session, or even you can also give me a call whenever you want, if you won't have any one-to-one discussions, so we can obviously move forward with that. So having said that, we were discussing on this title page of the presentation. So we say that intelligence actually is a game changer. Intelligence changes everything. When we acquired Nimble back in the years, along with Nimble, we have also acquired something called InfoSight. HPE was most interested in generating its own the AI architecture, AI infrastructure, we can say, in which we wanted some sort of engine that is mature enough to handle the storages and to make like effective decisions. The good thing of the AI, or the property of the AI, is that AI gets more matured when you feed more data into that. So the aged AI is like, for example, like if the artificial intelligence is old enough, so it holds more amount of data and would be more effective in taking decisions. So this HPE InfoSight, actually InfoSight is the artificial intelligence engine that is somewhere around a decade old. Like it's more than 10 to 15 years that this artificial intelligence is coming into like existence, and there are like trillions and zillions of data footprints are there to make this artificial intelligence engine good enough to make an effective decision. So what sort of decision we are talking about? We actually talk about some sort of history of how this storage era has been evaluated or has been evaluated. First of all, we had an era where we had a fight on the storages based on the flash era. That means that we talk about speed, simplicity, efficiency. Means that SSDs are bringing into the market more efficiency, more capacity, or more speed in terms of IOPS. It has a capability to be more fast than a simple spindle drives, the rotating drives, 7.2 k RPM or 10 k RPM, 15 k RPM. Then it brought more simplicity, rather than the amount of the rate of failure of the spindle drives were much more higher than the SSDs and all. And nowadays SSDs have become a commodity that every storage array is coming up with the SSDs. Not even that, but SSDs prices are also down. So every other organization, that means like SMBs as well, can obviously go for an SSD drives and all flash drives. Then we are talking about this cloud era, in which people are talking about the agility, that how fast the provisioning of the applications are. They don't need to wait for some 4 to 6 or 8 working 8 weeks to get the hardware delivered. And if I want to have the service up and running, so I don't want an infrastructure. I want something which is already there, and I just want to host my applications over there and I'm good to go. This is the power of agility we are talking about. I think I need as a service options. That means that I'm no longer in an ownership of maintaining individual support contracts and all. I just want a service, and when I'm done with it, I can just remove that service. So in cloud era, we are talking about agility and as a service experience. Then in future, there is an era which is known as intelligence era. You also know that many of the public clouds are strongly working on this artificial intelligence, ML, IOPS, ML ops, and all machine learning and all. So now everybody is investing in including HPE. Many of the things are coming up on based on the machine learning activities. Machine learning means that the hardware or the machine learns itself from the data that has been fed and take appropriate decisions based on the same. But the challenge with the ML is that you have to feed accurate amount of data. If the data has not been fed accurately, then obviously decisions would be taken accordingly to that. So what we actually think that the intelligent enterprise that is always on, always fast, always agile, and built for innovation, we feel that the artificial intelligence engine is intelligent enough to cater all those problems, not only on the storage layer but also the layers above that. That means that we talk about network layer or servers or even virtualization plus the application level as well. So the artificial intelligence engine should be capable enough to take all those decisions and make automatic remedies and create automatic cases based on uh, only not only on the storage but also it should be taking up all those things as a complete stack level. This slide says that more than 90% of the problem arises above the storage layer. Okay, this is the research that has been published in IDC Servers and Storage Availability back in April 2019. And they have realized that many of the problems is happening above the storage layer, which causes the storage to be in problem. So it might be possible that the network issues there might be SAN network, might be a LAN network, might be a server is there, and might be the virtualization layer which is creating a problem. Might be some of the application that is heavy enough for a host, and
What is
might
that?
be the application itself is creating a
Namaskar.
problem. So
എന്തിനായിരുന്നു ഞാൻ
complex
സാറിന്റെ ഒ
things to
പി ടി
handle for a
കിട്ടിയായിരുന്നു.
human. Okay, so instead of spending hours and hours and coordinating with the specific vendors, or either like it could be Oracle, it could be virtualization vendor, it could be some other application vendor. So we actually rely on artificial intelligence for that. We say that intelligence is the key for taming your hybrid IT complexity. This is the another advantage of the going with artificial intelligence. That is that we can easily have visibility over a hybrid cloud environment. Like for example, like we have our own premises environment, that is like we have our general purpose servers, mission critical or big data applications, DevOps or secondary storages and all. On premises means that it is sitting on your data center. Then we have a public cloud that is like AWS, Azure, Google, or some other clouds like Oracle Cloud and all. So we actually have to decide, and we have to take a very important decision that this XYZ workload should be performing very much optimally on either on premises or should be on the cloud. So this sort of decision, this AI can help you with past experiences and with its recommendation that similar sort of workload has been running on XYZ company, and public cloud is more suitable, or on premises is more suitable. XYZ storage is more suitable to handle that kind of a workload. So these sort of decisions can be taken, and it can easily be removing your complexity based on the hybrid IT. That means if you have a combination of your on premises and the cloud era, and you want to decide that this XYZ workload should be going on premises or should be going on cloud, obviously artificial intelligence can take a decision based on that. So intelligence is the key for data management as well. That means that where is the optimum place for the data to live during each step of the life cycle. Each step of the life cycle means that it is actually at the test and development, or it is actually at a staging stage, or actually it's on a production stage, it's on a data archival stage, it's on a backup stage. So at what level of life cycle is there, where the data should be going for. For example, like if you want to if you want the SAP HANA, for example, SAP HANA bare metal, that is the on premises. If you want to keep backups on cloud, so all those things can be
Equate
taken
മൂന്ന്
care
ഓർഡർ
by
വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്.
artificial intelligence.
ഈ സാധനം എന്ന് പൊട്ടിയതാ?
So we say that intelligence is the key for
പിടിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുകയാണ് ഇവിടെ
extracting
നിന്ന്.
value from the data.
500 ദിനാറിന്റെ സാധനമുണ്ട്.
First point which I raised when I started the presentation,
Okay, yeah,
that we actually are emphasizing not only storing data, but also emphasizing on how the data can be analyzed. That means that we have data generated by many of the IoT devices, many of the, for example, like if I talk about edge, the data has been generated from the user end, from the access points, and from many of the IoT devices, like security cameras and stuff like that. Here for some of the examples, like we're talking about the automated car, we're talking about the cell phone, we're talking about uh, the labs or this flight applications and all. So we actually believe that by 2025 we are talking about somewhere around like zillion petabytes of the data. How will you unlock the hidden insights to drive this competitive advantage? The problem is that we are storing data, and we know that data has been generated from many of the entry points. So the question here is that how we are going to analyze that data, how we are going to come up with some meaningful results from that particular data. So we want something something called an intelligent data strategy for that. So if we are ready for this artificial intelligence, so we have to come up with some sort of strategy that how we going to use maximum out of this artificial intelligence. It's there, and how we going to make a most of it. So we are talking about something which should be always on, first of all, always fast, and it should be automated on demand, hybrid by design, and also support global intelligence. So what actually these points are, we need some sort of devices, we need some sort of infrastructure that is, first of all, always on. That means that it should be resilient, it should be always fast. That means that it should be equipped well enough in terms of resources to handle complex workload and respond very accurately and very fast. Then we also want that infrastructure to be automated and on demand. That means that it should support the automation as well. And by the term automation, it should support the provisioning. Like we want to provision our workloads very fast, and it should be automated. I don't need to create virtual machines for every sort of need. It should be hybrid by design. That means it should be supporting my hybrid infrastructure, my hybrid cloud infrastructure. That means that I should be able to communicate through cloud, and I should be also able to communicate on premises. And it should support global intelligence. That means that it should be supporting artificial intelligence. So this is the platform which we're talking about. So we talk about workload optimized composable systems. That means that we have segregated workloads based on the types. We talk about workloads that has types like mission critical workload. Some of the workloads that cannot 0%, even zero, they cannot afford any sort of downtime for that. So we say that these sort of workloads are mission critical workloads. Some workloads are general purpose workloads, like okay, somewhere around like 6 nines of availability is good enough. Some workloads are secondary workloads. That means that it has been a second copy of the data. And maybe some workloads are the big data or AI analytics. Like for example, like if you're talking about data lake, or if you're talking about some sort of data that is big enough and normally used for analytics. Then after segregation of the workload optimized, then we say that any cloud also has been supported. That means that from edge, private to hybrid. That means edge means that any sort of robo, any sort of campus, or any sort of some small offices. Then we have private means that on premises data center. Then we have all hybrid. That means that the data center which has been communicating from on premises to the public cloud, and it has hybrid cloud sort of a nature. Then sits on top, we have a layer of global intelligence that supports predictive analytics. That means that it gives you a prediction. prediction from the false perspective, prediction from the capacity perspective, prediction from the workload optimization perspective. Then we have a workload footprint, obviously, and global learning, and after that we have recommendations as well, that like what sort of workload is suited for what, or recommendations like how to optimize your workload, what would be the optimal host for this XYZ virtual machine, stuff like that. So then on the top layer we have applications, that is like applications like app workloads, like we're talking about Exchange, we're talking about SQL, SAP, Oracle, VMware. If we talk about big data analytics, then we are talking about Spark, Cloudera, Blue Data, and some automations we are talking about, the Kubernetes, Ansible, Chef. And for cloud data management, we have data lifecycle, we have context aware, and we have different catalogs for that. So on top, we are having our users. So the users are maybe like line of business, maybe like a VM admin, cloud admin, DevOps guys, data scientists, infrastructure administrator. So this is the Bible of intelligent data platform. This is the strategy of intelligent data platform. How to achieve that? We have to start with, we have like different infrastructure devices or different infrastructure products. At the bottom of this layer, let me just go back once again. The bottom layer, that was workload optimized. Okay, on top on top of this particular layer, that means that there's global intelligence global intelligence, and the application layer sits on top of these devices or these products. These are the storage products which we actually uh, strongly recommend for specific workloads. Like for example, like if your workload is mission critical, then we recommend to go with this HPE 3PAR or HPE Primera. So let me just take a moment to just describe any specific products for the same. When we talk about this mission critical workloads, we have two type of specialized storages. We have HPE 3PAR and we have HPE Primera. HPE 3PAR has been proven itself as the most desirable storages when it comes to the tier 1 or tier 0 workloads. Why? Because it actually it has given a level of granularity of the data. There are like a lot of tweaks which you can perform with the data, and worked on the optimization of the performance. So 3PAR has been proven. It's been like a quite some sort of decade where we have we are working with the 3PAR, and we have many customers for 3PAR. It is like it is like it can be used as a unified storage, either your NAS workload, either your SAN workload, or it has been used as a hybrid storage as well, where you are working with uh, different sort of medias like SSDs and hard disk, and different sort of tiering would be there, where you want to tier your data, whichever data is your hot data, you can have the SSD layer, and whichever data is your cold data, you can have that particular hard disk layer on top of that. Then recently announced in August 2019, we have storage called HPE Primera. Primera is basically highly inspired by the DNA of 3PAR, because the level of granularity of the CPGs, common provisioning groups, and all, and the concept of having that very much low level uh, of the data analytics and all. So we have came up with the Primera, and we have also just reduced some of the shortfalls of the Primera, so shortfalls of the 3PAR. That was like the management was too much of because there are too much of options, because of the granularity. We have to set a set size and all. So we have taken a simplified approach, and that simplification nature of approach was inspired by the nimble, which will come in a while. So it is a combination of simplicity of the nimble and the granularity or the DNA of the 3PAR. So so we have taken both best of both of the storages and combined into one storage, and we have came up with this Primera storage. Nowadays Primera is available as all flash arrays, as well as the hybrid arrays, and it supports only RAID 6 because it's for mission critical, and we believe that in many of the mission critical workloads, the most supported and most favorable RAID from the vendors, from the applications, is RAID 6. So we have kept that particular thing as same stagnant, so that we can reduce the number of steps, or we can reduce, and we can emphasize more on simplicity. That also help us to troubleshoot very much clearly and very much fast as compared to other storages. So from the mission critical perspective, we have HPE 3PAR and Primera. Now 3PAR has been like would be end of life very soon. So Primera would be the mission critical storage for that particular space. And for general purpose applications, we have HPE Nimble and Simplicity. These are two different storages. HPE Nimble, actually, it's more simplified, and it has been known for its simplicity. It has been known for its triple parity RAID. It has its own proprietary RAID that is called triple parity RAID, that would allow you to have a resilience of 3 drive failures per controller, and the controllers are active standby. So it means that you can create this volumes based on the primary controllers as well as the secondary controller, and you would be allowed 3 drive failures for primary controller, 3 drive failures for secondary controller. We have resilience like redundant power supplies, or on the power level as well, and it is like supporting the fiber channel as well as the ISKZ or protocols as well. So it is a block storage. It's not a NAS. It's a block storage. And the beauty is that it supports the cloud, the hybrid model. That means that it's ready for cloud. That means that we have cloud volumes and all that I'll be touching later in this presentation. Then we have Simplicity. Simplicity is basically the HCI portfolio of HPE. It is coming under the storage portfolio because it is a kind of an hyper convergence that actually it supports your data intelligence as well as your most general purpose workloads. It is most suitable for the organization that has been going for VM centric, like your data is 100% virtualized, or you are looking for a VDI infrastructure. So the good part of simplicity is about availability. The level of availability is high, and the procedure or the architecture of simplicity is been different in a way that it actually it supports like minimum 2 nodes of a cluster, and from 2 nodes of the cluster, even though if your one node goes down, you are 100% covered. And if I talk about 3 node cluster, even though if your 2 nodes goes down, okay, that's a 66% of damage, still we manage to accommodate that particular loss as well, because of the architecture of simplicity to store VMs and to create this VM DK files. It supports VMware only. Hyper-V is not supported yet on Simplicity. Okay, so for those sort of environments which are looking for hyper convergence, so these boxes are for specifically for the hyper convergence, and it supports VMware. Okay, and you can start building up your cluster with minimum 2 nodes. Minimum 1 node is also good, but for high availability on the node perspective, we strongly recommend to go for 2 nodes at least. Okay, then comes our secondary workload. Nimble is also suitable for creating a secondary workload, especially the Nimble hybrid flash arrays. Nimble comes up into 2 flavors, all flash and hybrid flash. So hybrid flash can also be used and as a secondary array, in
Hasib
which
Ali, some guy.
the hybrid flash comes up in a bundle.
I spoke to Sunny. He said he's not even
So
informed
some
about
part
the
of
session.
the bundle is SSDs. That is depending on the flash to disk ratio, how much ratio you want to keep it. Then
Remember, you
we
didn't call
have
him.
the pool of HDDs.
Okay. So Sunny
Intel
sir,
actually
we'll have
supports
to postpone the
something called a
session because he
cascade
has a meeting right
architecture.
now.
That means that your data would always land on
Why do you
SSDs
sound so nervous?
and
It's
then
okay, chill.
gradually transported to HDDs. That so if you feel that you would be feeling that you would be using SSDs on the price of HDDs. That
Okay,
means
sure.
that
Thanks, man.
your
Bye
data
bye.
would be fast enough when it comes to reads. So your read IOPS are quite achieved quite completed quite fastly, because it would be using your SSDs rather than HDDs. Then we have something called store once. Store once is an appliance that is mainly used for storing backups. Why is it so? Because the beauty of store ones is its high compression rate. Whenever we talk about secondary workloads, so secondary workloads is normally a copy of the data. That means that more uh, it is more like a strategy of a data protection, where we want to we want to save our capacity, our spaces in the storage, and store more data out of that. So in order to accommodate that, people normally go with store ones, because it has a one proprietary protocol called Catalyst. Okay, that particular protocol allows you to have a compression rate of somewhere around like 45 is to 1 or 50 is to 1, depending on the nature of the workload, depending on the nature of the data itself. Okay, so the beauty of store ones is that it would allow you high compression rates. So in a small box of store ones, you can store even more data, like even double the data of the size of the store ones actually is. The expandability of store ones is a scale out expandability. That means that you if you are running out of space, or if you're running out
I've
of
asked him. I'll call him very.
or capacity, you can have another node and you are good to go. So that's why here we are showing multiple nodes. Okay, that would give
Hey.
you a very good use case in storing your secondary data. Then we have called something called HPE Recovery Manager. This Recovery Manager Central is a tool or is a software that comes
Hello.
cost when you buy
Hey,
like
Karan.
ones or Nimble, or you can buy
Hey,
separately as well.
just want to check with that
The job
Bamboo
of this
Cloud.
Recovery
Any
Manager
update
Central
on that?
is to make cases, is to make happen the failovers and failbacks
ठीक
either
थोड़ा वो
automatically
प्रायोरिटी पे
or
हो जाए
either
तो वो ठीक.
planned. So you can build up a case in the Recovery Manager
अच्छा अच्छा.
Central, that
Correct.
this is my volume and this is my target backup,
Thanks,
and
Karan. Thank you so much.
it would allow you a
Bye
schedule
bye.
periodic snapshots. It would allow you some synchronous replication from your primary array to your secondary array. It would allow to create a failback and failover procedures. So all testing can be done on this Recovery Manager Central. When we talk about this AI analytics, the big data world, the big data area, so we have many of the storages that are specified for that. Specifically, these storages are software-defined storages, SDS. Okay, so software-defined storages mainly rely on any of the hardware. Okay, so the software-defined storages like Blue Data, MapReduce, and the hardware is Apollo over here. So we can use Apollo chassis. Apollo is basically the ProLine dense populated offerings. It's a server which has high capabilities of storage or densely what we can say this these processors are available. Okay, so on that particular hardware platform, we can have this Blue Data or MapReduce or Cloudera. Okay, and Scality, and also these all are the examples of software defined storages. So that can be used in a space of AI analytics or the big data platform. So when we talk about this any cloud architecture means that we are talking about any cloud. That means that we are talking about public cloud or private cloud or hybrid cloud. Okay, so in the edge means that any sort of robo or any sort of campus or any sort of branch offices, we can go for this simplicity, obviously, because simplicity would be specifically designed for some SMB or some small to mid market, and all of your virtual machines on the edge level would be controlled or would be managed by simplicity cluster. Cluster means that it's like a minimum cluster of 2 nodes. Then on we have this map reduced storages that is specifically designed when you're talking about big data analytics or databases or transactional data and all. Then when we talk about the private cloud, we have different solutions to meet this particular requirement. We can either go for developing a private cloud based on HPE simplicity. We can build a private cloud based on this nimble storage or DHCI. DHCI is disaggregated hyperconverged infrastructure. That is another offering of our HCI portfolio, in which we say that many of the HCI architectures are scale-out architectures, but some customer needs something that actually would scale independently. Okay, like scale-up architecture, in which like if we want to scale our storage and our compute resources independently, so we need some sort of architecture that can actually meet that particular requirement. That means that if we want to increase the resources of compute, and if we want to increase the resources of the storage, we can do it independently. To achieve that, we have this HCI, which is known as disaggregated hyperconverged infrastructure for the same. Then our private cloud can be developed on combination of HPE Synergy as well as Primera. HPE Synergy is basically the new next generation blade infrastructure that actually is a kind of a infrastructure that has been highly composable. That means that it makes a fluid pool of resources, and it actually works on some sort of software defined architecture. That means that it is something called templates that can be automated and can be done accordingly. That means that you have to create some sort of templates, and templates can be auto provisioned to have these workloads to be provisioned very fast and in a very agile way. On the storage, we have obviously Primera that we discussed previously, that what are the advantages of Primera and what are the good things that is coming up with the Primera itself. So combination of synergy as with the Primera, it would give you a very good private cloud sort of an architecture. And when we talk about hybrid cloud, what we have to offer for hybrid cloud, that that hybrid cloud means that you're talking about some sort of combination of on premises as well as your public cloud. If you have that sort of an architecture, so we have the offering like HP Blue Data, which we discussed previously. Blue Data has been a software defined storage that is sitting on the Apollo chassis, Apollo servers. Then we have MapReduce that is been used for the data analytics, big data lake and all. Then we have something called HPE Cloud Volumes and Cloud Bank. Cloud Volumes, just imagine like a cloud volume is something called storage that is sitting for you on cloud. Okay, you can create your volumes on public cloud, and you can shift those volumes to any cloud. Like we normally support Azure or GCP and AWS at this moment. So the beauty of cloud volume is that you can have your cloud volume setup from the GUI. Okay, and if you want to move your data from one cloud to another, you don't need to pay any egress charges for that, because in the public cloud, what normally happens is that when you feed in the data, that's free, but when you extract your data back, then they charge you for the same. This is known as this egress charges. So we can avoid that egress charges by having these cloud volumes. Cloud volume is just a subscription license that is based on the capacity. For example, if you want to store somewhere around like 10 TB of data, so you will have this cloud volume of 10 TB, and you can move that particular 10 TB on any cloud. If you want to have segregation of this 10 TB on separate clouds, if you want to move data from one cloud to another, so you have the flexibility in your hand now, that I don't want to have only AWS, I don't want to have only GCP, or I don't want to have only Azure. I want something that is capable enough to migrate my data from one volume to another, from one cloud to another. Plus you have your connectivity to on premises as well. That means that your volume has been connected to on premises, and you are good to go. So that's the benefit of cloud volume. Cloud bank is also the similar kind of a setup, but cloud bank is basically used for more on the archival purpose, rather than storing your hot data and moving your data. We have this cloud bank for the archival purpose. That means that you are storing your backups on cloud. So this is the complete architecture. This is the complete the product portfolio when it comes to storage. By just not only this, actually, this complete portfolio has been covered by our artificial intelligence platform, which is known as HPE InfoSight. And on the top of the screen, you can see that whole portfolio has been covered by HPE InfoSight. That means that HPE InfoSight is the artificial intelligence platform, which comes free of charge first, by the way. And you would be able to just log in with the InfoSight portal and start managing your arrays from the cloud perspective, from the artificial intelligence perspective. Okay. And last but not the least, we also support HPE GreenLake for the whole portfolio. HPE GreenLake, those who don't know, is the consumption based offering of the HPE. That means that you don't need to pay any upfront cost. You just have to pay whatever consumption you do, or whatever resources which you utilize. You just have to pay for that. And like public cloud, we can offer you this monthly billing based on the sophisticated metering system. And we can obviously analyze that whatever usage will whatever capacity is being used, so we can obviously bill you that particular for that particular capacity only. So we have a segregated portals called consumption analytics portal, or GreenLake Central, to manage that would be giving us only the metering data, but not the actual data, but only the metering data, so that we can generate an invoice and give it to you. Just public cloud is doing in the same manner. So we are just mimicking a public cloud, and we say that we are bringing public cloud goodies on your data center. That means that you can have all your data center compliance intact, and you can also enjoy the benefits of the public cloud. That means that the goodies of the public cloud is that you are paying only for what you are using, and you are paying some monthly charges. So the same can be done on premises with the help of this HPE GreenLake. We say that this HPE intelligent data platform is built for this intelligent era. We have these three main pillars. Okay, so this particular slide is actually can be a conclusion to all the presentation. That means that if you want to just take up one single slide for this 2-hour presentation, if you want to just take up one key point, or if you want to just take something that you can remember, so just remember this slide. We say that we have three important pillars. Okay, pillar number one, we say that our storages are AI driven. That means that we are offering we are offering innovation, not administration. Okay, we want our IT resources to be free and to be innovative, rather than working on lights on, or working on troubleshooting all the time. So let AI do the troubleshooting for them, and they just want to just invest their time in innovation, in new projects. So we say that our storages are AI driven, artificial intelligence driven. Then we say that our storages are built for cloud. That means that any application anywhere. We have seen in the last slide that how our storages are communicating with the public cloud. Okay, so we say that our storages are ready for cloud. Okay, any application anywhere, and through this AI we can obviously decide that our workload should be going on the public cloud and which public cloud, or our workload should be residing on premises. We can say that our storages can be offered as a service experience. That means that be your own service provider. That means that you can now enjoy all the goodies of the public cloud, and your data center would be like a complete data center can be offered as a service, and you can obviously have these services whenever you need. It's just like an electricity. Whenever you want electricity, you just pay for the electricity, not actually for the hardware itself, nor for the meters itself. So it's just like an as a service offering that we are giving you. So the three main pillars are: our storages are AI driven, built for cloud, and used as a service experience. So we say when we talk about AI driven, okay, now we are going into the details that what actually is slide actually means. That when we talk about AI driven, that means that we are giving you this accelerate innovation, reduce risks, and we unlock some insights. Unlocking insight means that we actually strongly believe that not only storage is responsible for any sort of problem that is occurring. Maybe like in this whole stack, it can be anyone. Either it can be virtualization, either it can be networking, either it can be servers or storage, and it could be anyone. So the thing is that we actually want to just innovate rather than administrate, and let all those groundwork to be taken care by artificial intelligence. In this way, we are reducing risk, and we are also accelerating our innovation process. Then we say that global intelligence enables faster innovation, means that we are going more effortless management. Okay, we are going on more autonomous infrastructure. That means that with triple lines of availability and measured uptime. And we also introducing this transformational experience. That means that 86% of issues are automatically opened and resolved, and you don't need to just do a single thing. This is why we say that we have this global intelligence enables you faster innovation. Then we say that this intelligent data platform is built for cloud. That means that we offer mobility. First of all, that we say that move your applications, move your workload across the hybrid cloud, in any cloud, if you want to feel whatever cloud is good for you. Then we also say that protect and manage your data full life cycle management and production for your data everywhere, wherever it is. Then we also offer composability. That means that innovate more agile infrastructure and automation. That means that you can run some REST API scripts to auto provision your workloads. And again, you can use the same resources to provision some other workload.
Rakesh?
And by hybrid by design
ये
to
हुआ
drive
कि
your
फिर
cloud strategy,
बस
means
एक
that
HP का
we
वेबिनार है
actually
23 मार्च के
have
लिए
these offerings
guys
which is known as cloud volumes,
ये
cloud bank storage, HPE composable
3 दिन
cloud,
वेस्ट होगा
that we already discussed in the previous slide, so I don't want to repeat that. So obviously we know the difference between cloud bank storage and cloud volumes, and also we have a fair idea about composable cloud as well. Then we say that as a service offering, which I elaborated in the previous slide, that is the HPE GreenLake. Okay, be your own service provider. So we have already offering. We are already offering this workload as a service. That means that self-service your infrastructure as a code, and built-in automation for DevOps. Then that what I mean with that is that we are offering all this private cloud infrastructure that is available in the slide which I have discussed earlier, that is all offered as a service. Okay, it can be like a one-time deal or transitional deal, or can be offered on a contract terms as well, that you want to pay for only equipment that are being used, for only capacity that is being used from the day one, without any upfront cost. Okay, it can be consumption based, obviously, because you are paying pay per use delivered as a service on your data center. That your has been bolded or highlighted over here, because many of the people, especially in the Gulf industries, or Gulf region, many of the organizations, especially the government organization, don't want to move on the public cloud due to some reason. They have to be compliant with their data centers in terms of security, in terms of management, in terms of data sovereignty and all. So we respect that, and actually we say that if you are doing so, so why actually spending more on developing your own private cloud? You can do and develop your own private cloud, but also you can enjoy the benefits and the goodies which are offered by the public cloud. That means that you can only pay for what you are consuming, what you are using, and you can have those monthly bills, monthly invoicing based on the usage, so that it can optimize your usage and all. Okay, so then we have something called timeless. Timeless is actually a subscription that is like predictable cost and upgrades for the storage, that normally people go with that. Okay, timeless is actually something which is a subscription which I told. What actually it does is that if you subscribe for the timeless subscription, then you are eligible for an easy upgrades of the controllers. For example, like after 5 years, if you see that my controller is being end of life, and now I want to upgrade my controller, so you are eligible for the new controller. If you are subscribed for the timeless, then we would be giving you this controller free of cost. And for example, like Nimble, okay, in Nimble, if you currently running your data center on HF20, and after 5 years, if you want to upgrade on HF40 or some latest controllers that of that particular time, so we can do it, and we can upgrade your infrastructure. Okay, so if you are a member of Green Lake, that can be done anyways. Okay, but if you are not, then, and if you want to just enjoy this service as well, so just subscribe to the timeless subscription, so you are good to go, and you will be covered with this thing. And after 5 years, you are eligible after 3 years, in fact, or for 5 years, in fact, you are eligible for this new controllers. So your storage would be again having a better controllers, better speed, better features, and it would be feel like a new storage you have bought. And still you already have your drives with you, so all the drives, all the volumes will be the same, and all the service would be taken care by HPE, and you will be just upgrading your controllers. Accelerate your migration to intelligent storage, obviously yes, because you have to just remove legacy storage. And if you want to just test and migrate your new systems, migration to grow, uh, these things can be offered, and these things can be offered by our team called HPE Financial Services. They offer some tech refreshes wherever you need some sort of tech refreshes. So obviously you can contact HPE Financial Services, or call us. We can obviously make your contact with the right people to go with how to migrate, how to test and migrate for the new systems. Why HPE? Obviously, this slide, as I said, this slide is a takeaway slide. Only one slide is a conclusion of the whole presentation. That our storages are AI driven, built for cloud, and can be used as a service experience. Our storages are AI driven, built for cloud, and can be used as a service experience. Okay, this is the main core idea behind this intelligent data platform. So this is it from my side, and this is my contact, my email address. So just feel free for any questions. Just drop me an email, or just drop
बोला मैं इसको
your
रिजल्ट
questions
असेसमेंट में दे रहा हूँ,
in
बस
our
ऑलरेडी
Q&A
काम
section.
करते 10 मिनट
If
स्पीक
not
में
today, maybe like whenever I'll just see your question. I would be responding as soon as possible. So just feel free
Okay.
to be in contact with me.
For the daily marketing RPD, should I mention the number of leads and everything in the email? I mean the estimate. Okay, just daily marketing.